and welcome to training on your new Canon imageRunner Advance. Today's training session will walk you through the fax function of your machine, as well as how to create fax shortcuts. We'll talk about the left-hand side, the display itself, and the right-hand side. Let's get started. As we approach the machine, the left-hand side allows us to choose a main menu function, which is helpful if we choose a tab by mistake. There is no back button listed on the display bar. The main menu function allows us to reset back to the initial panel, and then we can start with the selected function that we need. The status monitor and cancel button is helpful if we select on the send function to allow us to see what the machine is currently doing. We can also select on the log option and check in the results column to see if the machine sent OK or if it returns a result of NG, which means no good, and we'll have to re-fax our document. Then we'll select OK to get back to the main menu. Today's training addresses the fax portion of your machine. Simply select the fax icon and start to dial the number from the right-hand side of the key display. You may have to dial a 9 or a 1 to get an outside phone line. Then select OK. At this point, if I wanted to send my fax, all I would have to do is to press the start button. If, on the other hand, you need to send to another number, simply start to dial in that number and OK. And the machine now tells me that there are two destinations. So it will scan the document once, but it will send to both phone numbers. There are options on the right-hand side that allow you to customize how the machine will scan the image. You have the option to change density, which means you can lighten or darken how the original appears. And the background allows you to adjust and take away that background. This is helpful if you copy from pastel sheets like yellows or greens, or if you copy from thinner paper or on newspaper print. Then select OK or Cancel depending on the setting that you've selected. You can tell the machine you have a different type of original. Maybe you have something with text and photo, or just photo. You can choose those options from this display and then select OK. Two-sided can also be selected. Simply answer as in book type or calendar type. Select OK. The machine will scan the front and back of your image, but it will send them as separate sheets to the recipient. Different size originals can also be selected. You can tell the machine different width or same width, and the machine will scan those individual pages and shrink them down to fit whatever size the recipient fax has. Then select OK. Under Options, there are two additional screens. Probably the most important function in here is the Job Build option, which allows you to put more sheets into the document feeder so that the machine sends one file as opposed to multiple pages to the recipient, with the possibility of them getting lost or walking off with other individuals at the fax machine. If all I needed to do was fax to these two phone numbers, I would press the Start button to the right of the display and send the document. For the purposes of today's training, though, we'll now walk you through how to save a fax number into the machine. So I just selected the Reset button. Now I'll select on Address Book, and I'll select Register/Edit, and I'll select Register New Address, select the fax option, and at this point the machine is asking me for a name of the person or the vendor and their phone number. So for today's training, I'll label this one as John and select OK, and then I'll type in John's number. Now if you have to dial a 9 or a 1 to get an outside line, you'll dial the same thing here and then select OK. You'll select Close and OK again, and when you need to retrieve that number from the fax option, simply select on Address Book and choose either one of the numbers that you have listed in your address book. What's helpful about the address book is that if I needed to send a fax to Charlie and a fax to John, I could send to them both at the same time without manually typing in either of the phone numbers because they're saved into my fax option, and then select OK. I'll select Reset for the purposes of this training and get back to the main menu. Hopefully this has answered your question regarding the fax option on your machine. If you have additional questions, or if you would like an Imaging Path product trainer to come out to your location, please place a ticket with the desktop support team. Thanks, and have a great day.